from News Channel 5.
All right, Angie, thank you. And here to answer your questions about spending, saving, and investing your money is Chad Slagle of Slagle Financial. Chad, thanks. We got some great questions today, so let's get right to them. Ryan wants to know, since the stock market has made a comeback and he's about to recoup some of his losses he took on his mutual funds, is it time to get out of the market?
Well, as we just heard, Lisa, you know, the market's up over 240 points so far today, so is it time or not? I think one thing you need to take a look at is your age, what phase of life you're in. Is it right to take some of those gains right now? It all depends. And again, a good rule of thumb that we like to use, since we deal mainly with people who are retired or getting ready to retire, is we use what's called the 100 age rule. Very simply, take 100 minus your age. So if you're 60 years of age and you're finally getting back some of those losses that you've incurred the past 2 years or the past 6 or 7 years, you know, you want to have 60% of your money safe, where no matter what happens, you cannot lose it, and only 40% of it should be at risk. And again, this isn't cookie cutter. It depends on your risk tolerance, your income needs, your lifestyle goals, and exactly what you want your money to do for you.
That is a great rule. You taught me something today. I'll remember that. Okay, Sarah Newton says, how can I tell when I'm paying in fees for my mutual funds?
Well, you know, that's a great question because, as you just mentioned, Lisa, well, you know, it's a simple question, but really 95% of the people that we actually sit down with have no idea what they're paying in fees on their mutual funds. Now, how can you find that information? Naturally, you can get that prospectus that you get in the mail, pull it out and read it. How many people actually read those prospectuses? What we find is you thumb through them and you maybe throw them away or you file them in your cabinet. A good thing to look at, though, in that prospectus, there's 3 main fees you need to understand. A lot of open-end mutual funds will have a load either on the front end or a load on the back end. You're also going to have what's called a fund expense ratio, and that's the mutual fund fee that you're charged for the mutual fund company to manage that fund. And the third fee that you're going to have is what's called a turnover ratio. In other words, very simply what that is depending how many stocks are in that mutual fund, how often those stocks are sold and new ones are bought within a 1-year period. So there's 3 fees that people need to understand, and really 95% of them have no idea what they're paying in fees.
Well, what do you recommend? I mean, do you recommend the no loads? I mean, why should I pay a fee if there are plenty of good performing no loads out there?
Very, very good question. No, I do not recommend loaded funds because the last thing you want to do is invest in the market, and some of these open-end mutual funds have a load up front of 5.75%. So what I would recommend, or what we recommend to our clients, are no-load funds, exchange-traded funds. Funds that really you can get in and get out whenever you want.
Yeah, and do you find sometimes people that are running those funds, those loaded funds, are just kind of switching you in and out and they continue to get that fee?
Good question. It's either one or the other. It's either a buy and hold, where they're never rebalancing, they're never really locking in the gains, or yeah, they keep selling and buying, and then that load and that commission is passed on to them every time you do that.
All right, Massey wants to know, what is the difference between an IRA and the retirement plan I have through my employer?
Well, if you have employee-sponsored plans, 401ks, profit-sharing plans, defined contribution plans, really the difference between the two is the amount of money that you can put into the accounts. You know, you may have your 401k where your employer matches you, but an IRA is somebody that any individual can put. It doesn't have to be through work. The thing to keep in mind, though, again, when we talk about retirees, is when you put into these accounts, it's when you retire. A lot of these accounts that you set up through work are set up to get you to retirement. They are not set up to get you through retirement. So it's important to roll those over to an IRA and give your beneficiaries a lot more tax advantages if you were to pass away.
Chad Slagle, a lot of tangible, good information today. Thank you. With Slagle Financial, we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.